I am Adam Fletcher. I am the Director of Community for Gears of War at the Coalition.
And I'm Johnathan Taylor. I'm a multiplayer producer at the Coalition.
Gears of War 4 has been, in development for about
2.5 years.
Yeah, 2.5, 3 years, right around there. So yeah, it's been a while. Very crazy last few months because just prepping for launch and stuff like that. So, but yeah, we're excited. It's finally out.
I've been at the Coalition for 2 years now. So since I got here, I was working on Gears 4. So I came over from Epic, working on Gears 2 and Gears 3 previously. So it was nice to be able to see a new team kind of pick it up from there.
I think that's the greatest part about it is we have a lot of passionate Gears fans within the studio, but getting fresh faces and fresh eyes and so forth on the franchise and how eager some of these guys are. We have a lot of people within the studio that haven't shipped a game at all. This is their first game, but they're excited to work on something like with Gears of War, and that passion, that extra motivation, kind of just goes into the final product at the end, and I think that's what makes the Coalition really stand out and then become a little bit more unique than a lot of other studios out there, which is really cool.
Yeah, and it's something to be said for some of our grizzled veterans, like some people that have worked on tons of games and been shipping for the last 15, 20 years in some cases. Like to see them get really excited about it, and they're looking at the feedback from the fans and they're trying to see what things they can improve. It's just everyone's just super stoked to be working on it and be able to see the product go out to fans' hands and see how they react. There's a lot, so I'll just break it down really fast and say Horde has got a whole new progression system and class-based system. So if you've already played a certain style or way, you can now do that, and the game actually aids you in doing that instead of kind of fighting against you sometimes. And then there's also as you progress and level up, you have different things that unlock for you, become more powerful. So Horde's got a lot more stuff going on with it. On the multiplayer side, a lot of new modes, a lot of new weapons in the mix. Kind of gives a good round experience for everybody. So Escalation's new, it's our competitive mode. Dodgeball is new, it's sort of a take on Warzone Execution, but instead it has kind of an ebb and flow back and forth as you kill people. You bring your teammates back in that may have been dead. And then Arms Race, which is kind of a team-based gun game. So a lot of new modes, a lot of new interesting things to try out, and a lot of new weapons as well. And then also, we already had dedicated servers, but just even more dedicated servers than we had for Gears 3. Just a stronger backbone in terms of the Azure setup. And then 60 frames per second in multiplayer, which is huge to me. When you go from 30 to 60, you totally can feel it. So it adds a whole lot of extra oomph and makes you feel like you're more responsive. It makes things just feel better in general and doesn't get as taxing as 30 frames may have.
Yeah, and I think with campaign, we're 25 years after the original trilogy of Gears of War, and it's a great stepping stool for any new player who wants to get into the franchise or any old player who wants to revisit the world of Sarah. We have a brand new protagonist who's JD Phoenix, who happens to be the son of Marcus Phoenix, and players will be able to kind of experience their story and their take of the world. It's really unique in the way that with Gears 1, you started off, understanding and being part of this conflict that was already occurring with the Locust. I mean, Marcus was coming out of the jail cell with Dom, already understanding that there's a huge war going on with the Locust, and they immediately get into a battle with the Locust. While with, JD, Kate, and Dell, they've gone through 25 years of peace. They've never experienced any type of war in their whole entire lives. And for them to kind of figure out this threat and learn about the threat as you go through the story and you're discovering it with them is really unique to the Gears franchise, and it's awesome for fans from the past series to kind of jump into Gears 4 and experience themselves. And of course, anyone who's new, who's never tried a Gears of War, it's a great way of being able to jump in.
It's interesting. When you said that, it actually makes me think it kind of parallels our studio in a way. Yeah. The grizzled veterans with a lot of the new faces that maybe haven't gone through shipping a game before. It has some of the same sort of aspects. Yeah. These people have seen this style of war before, and some of the new people that come in that don't really know as much about it, and you get to experience it through their eyes. So it's cool.
We had a multiplayer beta this past spring, and one of the big goals for us for that beta was to it was kind of like a pre-alpha for us, but
yeah, it was really early on.
Yeah, we one of the biggest goals for us was to actually get it out there in front of people and to make sure that fans still thought it felt like Gears. Like that was our biggest thing. We've taken Gears 4 into Unreal 4. It's a brand new engine, and it's a brand new studio working on it. And we've played the game so much. We thought it felt like Gears, but we're like, you know what? We need like a sanity check, and we need to put this in front of fans
and a million eyes or so.
Exactly, and have people try it out and see what they think. And it was great because the feedback was awesome. A lot of people thought it felt exactly like Gears, but then there was a lot of different tweaks that we could have done, which we ended up basing off the community feedback and so forth. We were able to implement. We actually started this program called the Gears Feedback Program, where people could sign up on gearswar.com, and they would actually receive surveys throughout the beta and after the beta, where they could provide feedback, and we would end up sending off to them like a bunch of different questions that we had regarding weapon tuning, to favorite maps that they played, to the movement and feel, to the close cover combat system, which was a brand new mechanic in Gears 4. But it allowed us to gather that feedback and take that feedback in. And what's nice is that even though the game ships, like, we are still listening to feedback. Even we're in early release weekend with the Ultimate Edition coming out like on this past Friday on the 7th, and we have already taken in a lot of feedback over the weekend, and we plan on actually implementing a lot of different changes, even some changes before people who are getting the game on the 11th will end up actually being able to experience. We're able to grab that feedback and actually generate those changes based off the community that quickly, which is awesome. It just shows how fast we are and how unique the coalition is in regards to being very transparent with the community and always valuing their opinion and their comments. Campaign, so it's always going to vary depending on like your skill level and stuff like that. But if you're playing through normal and you're like an average player who's played through maybe like a Gears before or something like that, it usually takes about like 8 to 10 hours, somewhere around there. If you like breeze through it or something like that, and you're like some sort of king of third-person shooters, you're playing on casual or something like that, it may be quicker. But then I've seen a lot of people finish about right around the 9-hour mark or something like that for 9 to 10 hours for Gears 4. For us, it was more of just making sure that we wanted to focus with Gears 4 is to, we're a new studio on this, and it's the first Gears game in a long time since Judgment, and we wanted to make sure that we went back to the fundamentals and we brought back a game that people felt like it was Gears, and that was our biggest focus. There's obviously a lot of new technology out there and stuff like that regarding VR and so forth. But our biggest focus for now has been just making sure we created that ultimate Gears experience that fans can come back to and enjoy without all the extra craziness involved. Maybe in the future, sure, we don't know. But for now, like, our biggest focus was get a great Gears experience out there for all the fans. There's a lot of like transmedia stuff that people are really excited about, like, because there used to be like a bunch of Gears novels and everything like that. There's still discussions of what we plan on doing. We did talk back in Comic-Con that a Gears of War movie was in the works, and then this past week we actually confirmed that we're working with Universal on the Gears of War movie as well. We're going to have more information on that really soon. We're kind of excited to share that with everyone, but for now we're still early on in the whole process. But we're hoping that we can expand more. With the changeover from Epic to Microsoft, a lot of the licensing contracts and so forth had to kind of restart and go from one company to the other, and so now we're starting to see more Gears things out there, from like the Funko Pops to the action figures with McFarlane Toys, and even like us working with Triforce, like on the collector's edition piece. We're starting those relationships over again, and we're going to start to work on other things that will kind of hit those transmedia things that people are looking forward to. So he actually just played for the first time this past week, and he had nothing but awesome comments to say about it. So he jumped in. He jumped in when all the press jumped in. He got to try it out, but yeah, he's a big fan of it, huge fan of it. So I love the fans of Mexico. They're super passionate. Everyone, and no one really knows this except us, but like, I think the fans in Mexico are probably our most vocal and most passionate group of fans out there, and we're so thankful for them, and we're so thankful for all the feedback and everything that they provided and all the support as well. So we're thrilled to be down here in Mexico City, and we plan on coming back many, many times, especially with esports coming up and stuff like that. We actually have a stop here with esports. There's a lot of cool stuff coming with Gears, and we're excited for everyone to jump in.
Thank you guys.